getting back into the swing of this thing. We're just, we're figuring out some new things, obviously with the kickoff and kickoff return, and then we're trying to really just evaluate our players, the rookies and then our veteran guys. I use this time as a lot of just skills and drills to set the foundation for when we move further down the line, we can do a couple more things. Questions?
Chris, do you have to do more reps with kickoffs and stuff than you normally do in a practice, just to kind of get used to it because it's a new play?
Yeah, I think the way the play is set up, honestly, when they designed it, they've taken out a lot of the running, right, from the 35-yard line. So it honestly allows you to get more reps, and then you get an idea of kind of what the play looks like. I mean, you're really asking guys to run anywhere from 20 to 25 yards, before they actually make contact with the return. So those are some things that we're still figuring out. And you guys know us. We're gonna practice fast, and the more reps we can get of the play, the more understanding we get of how we're gonna build this thing and kind of how we're gonna put it together.
Is it kind of a game changer? I mean, do you in a way start from scratch and devising how you want to play it?
It really is. It's something new to our league, and I talk to the players about this. Is we're gonna build this thing together because we don't really know what it's gonna look like. We've seen video from the XFL and we understand what that looks like, but we actually got to get out here. We got to practice it ourselves to kind of see what those angles look like and see what we can run and what we can't run. So as we go through it, man, this off season, we're going to be putting stuff in, we're going to be taking stuff out, and when it's all said and done, it's put together, I do believe it's going to be an exciting play, and hopefully we're on the exciting end of it, having a lot of success.
Chris, do you see the similarities to it being like a running play in a lot of ways?
Oh, I do. I could see that. It is a lot of close quarters, combat type things. But I think all in all, the play is set up. It's still going to be a physical play. It's still going to be a guy whooping the guy's butt across from him, right, and getting to the football. So I do see that being able, are we hitting more downhill? Honestly, we don't know yet, but we're going to practice a lot of different things this offseason and into training camp.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it sounds like you're still experimenting, but based on the film you've seen, is there sort of a standard school of thought for how this play should operate, or is it still very in an experimental stage where nobody has a best practice?
Oh, I think it's still kind of an experiment because you really don't know what you're getting until you get out there and you actually put the guys in those situations, right? Yesterday was the first time we were able to get 11 on 11 just because of the way the rules are set up, right? So we can work all the drills in the football schools and the kickoff coverage drills, but until you can get 11 guys out there against 11 on 11 and really see and feel the play and being out there, and then you ask the players, right? How do you feel? How does that feel? If we want you to do this, can you do that? And they're like, coach, well then we keep working those things.
When they proposed the new kickoff rules, I know John Harbaugh asked a ton of questions. What were the conversations like during that time between you two, and how much has he been jumping in now that you guys are workshopping stuff?
I think the conversations once we realized this thing was gonna happen, and I think as the year went on last year, it was more, man, it's like we need to make this play exciting again, and there's ways, just looking at how this play is gonna evolve. There's ways that make the play exciting and get the ball in your returner's hands and let those guys work. But our conversations were we just gotta adjust and we gotta adapt to whatever the standards are, whatever the rules are gonna be, because I know our guys feel pretty good about, man, we get to cover kicks, we get to return the ball again. Those are some things that were lost over the last couple of years.
Chris, do you feel like might be more conducive covering kicks for linebackers or DBs, like smaller DBs? Is it a different body type you kind of have to emphasize now on kick coverage?
Yeah, I think Jeff, the guys that originally you wouldn't probably necessarily put out there because of the long speed running, that stuff's kind of dead now, right? It's a little bit closer. So again, we're asking guys to really, that's like when you think about it, it's like almost like a defense and offensive play, right? They're within 5 yards apart from each other. So I could see us using a lot of our bigger outside linebackers on this phase because they're good with hand-to-hand combat. They're physical players. So we're gonna experiment with all these different things as we move forward this offseason.
Chris, is the list of kind of candidates for that spot guys with return experience, or could there be some surprise guys who have that open field ability that maybe we wouldn't normally associate with that spot?
I think we'll see the same guys that return in this league. Obviously, it's going to be first and foremost, man. You guys, I talk about it all the time, like ball security and great decisions. But I do think it's going to be, some teams are going to only have. I mean, at the end of the day, we're only going to get what we can get personnel-wise, right, throughout the league. And so whoever that player is and how we feel about him returning the ball, I think our schemes will match that returner skill set, just like we've done in the past.
So probably no Zay, probably no Derrick Henry.
I can almost guarantee those. You know what I'm saying?
Chris, along those lines, you guys did bring in Deontay Hardy this offseason. We haven't seen him this week, but what did you like about him, and what do you think he can bring, especially knowing replacing Duvernay back there?
You know, I think this guy, man, he's electric, right? He's been a Pro Bowl player. He's been an All-Pro player, and when he was sitting there and his name came up, it was just like, oh man, this is like we lost our guy. We need a guy to fill these shoes, a guy with some experience. You'd like to have a guy with some experience, so you're not really relying on young guys, especially in the punt return game, right? And then it just allows us to do a little bit more back there. I'm excited about him. I know the coaches are, the players are. You know, I talked to the guys, some of the Baltimore guys, like, hey, we got Hardy coming in, and those guys. Is that the guy from the Saints? The guy should be in the Saints. Like, yeah, man, that's a little returner from the Saints, and so he's a well-known, respected returner in this league.
Chris, I mean, obviously, these new rules have given you a lot of work to do, but in some ways, does it feel just like, man, my job has more value? I'm actually scheming how to get yards, not just to kneel down out of some of these plays.
That's funny. I mean, it's a play we get to coach, right? I think like we spent a lot of time out here on Wednesdays working kickoff return, and I'm screaming, and then you get in the game, and then the fair catch rule is in, right? Or the ball's kicked in the end zone, and there's not being returned. So you come back in the meeting and you're grading 7 plays, 4 punts and 3 punt returns, and you're just like, man, I really want to coach this game. So it does give us a little bit more life, and I think our players want more football, right? And our players, I said this last year, man, our players live for covering kicks, and I think we'll cover kicks and we'll return kicks, and we'll be pretty good at it. But I am fired up, man. I told these guys as I was walking up, if you don't adapt, you die. So I love my job. I love coaching special teams, so I want to make sure we keep this going.
Chris, a guy that both Harbaugh and Costa said they wanted to see fly around on special teams was Citizen Kane. Just what are your first impressions of him? What have you seen out of him?
Just a young guy right now. Just trying to figure out our process, right? We do a lot, we demand a lot. The standard is high, and he's working his way, just like a lot of these young guys. These drafted players, undrafted players, man, they're just trying to find their role, and then they sit down with us, and we kind of help them identify. Okay, here's where you're going to play. Here's what we need to see from you, and let's get this done. But I love his mindset. He is a guy that's very attentive in meetings. That's the one thing I can tell you about this whole rookie class. And these guys they're active in meetings. They communicate, and then when they come on the field, you see those things displayed. So I'm excited for them.
Did you have any conversations with Justin Tucker after the new kickoff rule, and what was kind of his reaction?
We're still going through that process with Justin, and then as we get into our kickoff part of it, which we'll start again next week. We'll just keep talking and trying to do a bunch of different things, see what benefits him. I mean, he's a skilled kicker, right? So I think kickers with skill will be able to place the ball in certain spots and maybe give you an advantage. So we're going to be working on those things.